The book of Matthew, chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 19. Point is verse 21, and it reads, And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Verse 21, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Verse 22, And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Racha Kodash Barakatam. I want to say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Say shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. So, Brother Yawasap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This lesson is in regards to pretty much I was reading this morning, reading Matthew chapter 24, and reading chapter 24, the infamous verse about for the end shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And made me think because of the fact, it made me think about the times we're coming into and what's going on. I was watching the Elder Malcolm's video, beloved Elder Malcolm from Chicago, and he was watching the one Jake. What is it called? Hold on, bear with me. Salaki. So he was watching. He was listening to that Jake. This channel is Rethinking the Dollar. I remember hearing the beloved elder Apostle Tahar speak on this individual. I don't know his name, but I believe the elder said that individuals reached out to him or he's aware that he's an Israelite, but for whatever reason, and then he even made mention of because of the platform and whatnot, and scripture was that Jeremiah chapter 2 about trimming thy ways to seek love, because I'm sure because of his platform and the media and YouTube, he's, trying to cater to the world when, truth of the matter is the Most High doesn't care about what the world loves or what the world thinks. Scriptures talk about individuals that truly believe going to be persecuted, and people don't really wrap their mind around that. Not to digress, but I was, normally we have a study for the camp, and then we have our individual camp studies. And this particular week, because the Passover coming up, brother was like, "Well, we ain't gonna really have a lesson. We gonna pretty much just watch the video on the Passover and just to meditate on the Passover." And then one of the heads pretty much said the same thing. He said he's not going to do a study because of the fact, want everybody to really meditate on the Passover, the one coming up, and the one, the first of Passover, And when you sit and meditate, you really you sitting there and you putting yourself in that moment. And when I was reading that scripture, I thought about it because there's a lot going on, again, that rethinking the dollar, just like with Gerald Salente, they bring out these things about what's going on. So you they're kind of forewarning, but you don't even understand what's about to take place until you're dealing with it. A person can speak on a situation, but if you never really walked through it or experienced it, that's what, wisdom is to actually to be able to apply something you learned without actually going through it. For instance, with the scriptures, these scriptures are set up for life. You get what I'm saying? Like, you walk in these ways and you shall live. The scriptures talk about that in the book of Deuteronomy. I've set two paths before you, life and death. The way of the world is death, and the way of true righteousness is life. but this world shuns righteousness. A person can be offended by nothing you've actually done, but something you said, showing you how weak this generation is as opposed, and showing you how wicked for real. Because if you wasn't offended or spiritually cut, you wouldn't get offended. You wouldn't give a fuck. But you spiritually cut, so that's why people tend to get in their feelings. And at the end of the day, is scriptures talk about, it was a brother in the cap. He used to make a statement. He said, take it up with the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, these ain't my words. And that's what's the killing blow to these people when we speak out the scriptures. That's why I see why the elders emphasize, do less talking and more of quoting or reading scriptures, because you can't refute the scripture. But I know I'm all over the place. The beloved elder apostle Tahara's line, which I'm not stealing, but could never steal, or I couldn't walk in that man's shoes. But saying that to say this, I'm all over the place. But I was thinking about that because I'm like, that Jake made a statement, and I made this very same statement before he said that. Like, me and a brother was talking about this because what time of year it is and things is going on. So I was supposed to was getting a job, but the job didn't work out. Show you how the Lord doing all kind of shit. You know what I mean? But I was gonna make this purchase, and that fell through. So I'm like, fuck that, because I'm seeing certain things. Brother telling me this about what he going through. I'm like, yeah. So he and then I was like, that same day when all this fell through, specifically for me, my personal testimony, it brought out this article about Family Dollar, and I was like, well, damn, you know what I mean? I'm gonna bring out the article as well, or some of it, and saying that to say this, that Jake and whose channel is Rethinking the Dollar, he said the same thing, and I said pretty much, if because they're trying to use the fact of theft, but theft ain't really the major factor for all these companies closing down and whatnot, because you got to understand, a lot of these companies have insurance, so they already expected to take a certain amount of, it don't even be people coming into the store that be stealing. A lot of times it be the employees that's stealing from the companies. That's why they had that shit factored in. Come on. So this is just all, smoke screens and mirrors and all making it look good and cute and tight and pretty for the people to dress it up to bring in the measures that they're going to bring in. Allowing them to lock items and products behind glass and shit like that. So he said pretty much if a country or the people can't afford to shop at the dollar store, what do you think is going to take place? If people ain't got money to shop at the dollar, if people ain't got money to shop at McDonald's, you got to really take the time to think about that and showing you how fucking like I don't know what they put in McDonald's. I haven't eaten McDonald's in so long. The most I did was drink coffee out of there when I was homeless. I haven't eaten McDonald's in years. I haven't been homeless in years. I had stopped eating McDonald's back in the world. So that's just, but you got people McDonald's is like, they say you go in there by yourself and order and the shit like $20. And people still buying this shit. But it was, I think the CEO of McDonald's said, pretty much people that's under middle class is not shopping at McDonald's. Because you might go in there and just try to feed your family and spend like $60. And motherfuckers don't think it's an issue. Well, the Lord will let them, the scriptures talk about they're being blinded, but they shall see. All eyes shall see. The Lord is going to pull those blinders off of everybody. Well, all those that can't see, those that don't have the eye salve, all those that are not of the hopeful elect. So, again, I'm going to bring that out in Matthew chapter 24, and it reads, Matthew 24, I'm right in my mouth, Salakia. Matthew 24, verse 21, and it reads, for then shall be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And there's multiple scriptures talking about it's going to be a time of tribulation or suffering for everybody. So we're going to go to that word tribulation. And tribulation, it says, a cause of great trouble or suffering, the tribulations of being a megastar. But the main point is the state of great trouble or suffering, his time of tribulation was just beginning. So, because it's a saying in the world to say, you going in the storm, you in a storm or coming out of the storm. partly, men have a misconception of what a man is, especially in this feminized ass society. We're trying to come back to our manhood, and Babylon makes it very difficult. I mean, I could say I struggle with that. I was around a man, but wasn't raised by a man. If you can understand that without going into detail, but nonetheless, as a man, a man stands on integrity. That's why coming into this truth, if you take up the plow and then look back, you want fit for the kingdom, because a man has integrity. A man's supposed to stand on his word. But saying all that to say this, it's something that women don't tend to do. And it ain't about, I ain't playing no sex cards or nothing. When you really look at the way that this society caters to, like, it just is ridiculous. And you know what? It's going to be, what's the word? The retribution is going to come in a time of trouble. That's when these hoes because I don't label every woman a hoe or a bitch or a slut or, You're labeled based on, your actions and you as a person. That's how I do it. I'll call a woman that I consider a woman. But the majority of these females is not women. Shit, half of them don't want to be females. They either got penis envy or they just mad at men in general. Like the fuck. But then at the same time, in that day of trouble, they gonna be calling on a man though. When you say time to really think about it, I mean, just being a father in this place, I just realized some, like, showing you how, like, but they say that you can't be, then you got these silly ass dudes telling they're talking about they kings and shit like that. You can't be a king in another man's kingdom. It shows you that in the book of Jeremiah. I can't think of the king name when when Nebuchadnezzar poked his eyes out. That's in the Bible, by the way. Killed his sons in front of him and then poked his eyes out. He let him see him kill his sons, showing him he was completely powerless to do anything for his fucking family, and then poked his eyes out. Salakia. And that's nothing to compare to the suffering that's about to come, because there's multiple scriptures talk about great suffering come to the earth. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring that out in the book of Ezekiel. Bear with me for a second. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 1, and it reads, this is the book of Ezekiel 7 verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, power unto the land of Israel, an end. The end is come upon the four corners of the land. And we're coming into an end of an age, and the end of a rulership. And that's why the scriptures talk about this devil going to come down with great wrath, because this devil don't want to give up his rulership. Y'all ain't seen as much as wickedness this devil has showed you niggas, for real. I'm going to say it just like that. You niggas, y'all still cater to and trust in this motherfucker. Like the scriptures tell you, if he do any good, he do so. I forgot, I'm a butcher, but basically he's not doing it for your benefit. He'll do it for his. If he help you, he's helping himself. And that's just facts. When they build these projects for, even when you go into income tax is not just because they looking out for niggas and poor people. Income tax is for them to stimulate the economy. That's why it always comes out around this time, right before the fucking new year. I mean, because the new year is really in spring. Life ends in winter. How the fuck is New Year January 1st? No, life begins again in the spring. So in order to keep the economy flowing and everything, that's why they give these poor people money to go ahead, and what do? They spend it. Just like, and you seen that when they did that back in 2020, when they locked everything down, they had to give everybody those stimulus checks and shit like that. But so we see in the end of, age, because like I said, the way things were done, the way society was ran, the way things, they've changed and all that. That's why now they could try to mandate you to take some shit that you don't want to take. Verse 3, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. So the Lord said, I'm going to revisit what you was doing that was abominable with me. I mean, that show you the power of the Lord. The Lord, you can offend the Lord. Say, for instance, you a homosexual, right? And say, for instance, you could offend the Lord to the point he can basically judge you based on the abominable things that you was doing. So you like men, a man liking men, he can send a whole bunch of men and rape them to death. And it probably won't be fun, or he won't like it like that then. Because nobody likes to do anything when it's not within their will. That's what make it lightweight. You know, you can enjoy doing something. A motherfucker can enjoy playing basketball. But if you was made to play basketball all day and night, a motherfucker wouldn't like it. I guarantee you. Verse 4, and mine eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. This is coming from the Most High God. He said, I'm not going to have pity upon what I'm going to do to you. But they talking about the Most High God is all love. But I will recompense, meaning repay, thy ways upon thee, and thy abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Verse 5, thus saith the Lord, power and evil, and only evil behold is come. And that's the point. When you go to that word evil, evil is a compound word, eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. Bad times is approaching. You know, you go in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, and it reads, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. I will just step right there. So you go to that word perilous, it's a Latin or Greek word, so like a Greek word meaning kalipos. Kalipos meaning dangerous or fierce or hard to do, hard to bear. So it's going to be hard to live. There's people right now are having trouble living, paying their rent. You know, you got homelessness at an all-time high. Why do you think the government got to step in? The government really is putting in price controls. You know how fucked up life about to be? Because you got people that own businesses that amass wealth and, you know, they amass substance in this place. But because of the fact the economy is doing bad, they now can't charge what they normally would charge because the government is going to step in. You people are going to figure out how free you really not. You know, they was just talking about it's a record number of people going into their 401ks. And if you know anything about a 401k, if you touch that money, you're penalized. Now, to show you how unrighteous this man is, which is all in the scriptures, how the fuck is he going to tax you on touching your money? He taxing you for your money. This is your money. This is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see if it was the company's money that, like, long as if you work a job for 10 years, they're going to give you $10,000. You know what I mean? But no, this is your money. Most 401ks, you got to put up, if not majority of it, you got to put up half. And then, like I said, again, that's all based on private institutions and private companies and all that. You know what I mean? But if you touch that money, you're penalized. Just imagine when they start taking that shit. So I got one last one. This is the book of Joel chapter 2, verse 2. It's Jacob's trouble, or, you know, day of the Lord, or the evil days. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 2. A day of darkness and gloominess. A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and thick darkness. A day, Salakia. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So the day of the Lord is going to be a great day. But that day when this economy crash, that's going to be a dark day. Because a lot of people don't even know what the fuck going on. Or, you know, and that's the Lord. That show you the power and the fear you must reverence for the Lord. Because that's why the scriptures talk about one person going to be taken up and one person going to be left. Because you got people that's hearing it, you hearing the message, but don't understand it. You know, it sounds like gibberish. Sound like Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. Well, you know what I mean? It sounds like, I mean, I don't know what it sounds like, but I can imagine what it sounds like because I remember when, all my life people was trying to tell me about the Bible, and I be rejected it. So I can imagine to a degree that's probably what we sound like to the non-believers or to the 2/3, and show you just how easily the Lord could, but because I guess I always looked at it like it was something off about the doctrine of Christianity. And although I was a nigga in the world and going off, I was in the right spirit then. I remember the elder saying that, like, you know, talk about how, they always knew someone right with the image of the Messiah, being a pale-faced, pasty Edomite. So with that all being said, when this place, when these jobs shut, because like the elder said, watching that video, because his video was a commentary based on the guy Rethinking the Dollars video. And pretty much he said, we're not, because he said, and I've heard brothers speak on this individual before. At one point, he never was bringing out scriptures. He said on this particular video, the first thing he did was read a scripture because these people, may not have, because he said he don't have any understanding of the scriptures, and it kind of offended the elder because he said, why not leave the Bible out of it? Nobody goes on there and tells him how to analyze the trends in the market, and because he's an economist. Nobody's telling you how to do that. So, we put energy and work, into the truth, into the scriptures. So you would go to authority on anything. Like if we had a question about money, I would go to somebody about, I forgot who made that statement. He said, I don't know about these things, so I surround myself around people that do. So if I got cars, because I like cars, I got a guy that's one of the best mechanics in the country. You know what I mean? Like, so again, but the statement that was made, he said we're not in a depression or a recession. He said we're in a full-blown collapse, and that's the truth. The number of jobs that's closed, and a brother just told me about how I think he's been at this job for a little bit over a year or something like that. I can't recall, but maybe almost 2 years. I can't recall exactly. But long story short, he said that pretty much his job is ended like in the next couple of weeks. I think at the end of the month. A lot of places is not hiring while they making it seem like they are. Don't get me wrong. Some people still working and, it's jobs out there. But a lot of people is taking a beating. And that's why do you think crime is up so much? So again, evil and only evil beholders come. So I'll bring out a little bit of this article, and then it's a couple scriptures I'm going to end with, because I didn't mean to go this long, maybe go 30 minutes. So this is out of USA Today, and this is data for today, published, yesterday, March 14th. Nearly 1,000 Family Dollar stores are closing. Owner Dollar Tree announces. Dollar Tree announced it would close nearly 1,000 of its Family Dollar stores after the stores experienced a significant underperformance in 2023. And that's just, I can end to read the article right there. They're telling you everything is fine. They just telling you that these stores is underperforming. These is retail stores. Retail stores are propped up and kept going based on the economy. If people spending money, if people can't spend money at a Dollar Tree, why do you think Dollar Tree had to go from $1.25 to products in there $5? Because they weren't making the money that they normally would make. Says, according to the press release by the company, during the fourth quarter of 2023, and that's how this works. Like, I guarantee you a lot of companies about to fail because a lot of people didn't spend money like they normally do on Christmas. They don't know the numbers of what Christmas do until like around this time. So you're going to see a lot more companies closing as well. During the fourth quarter of 2023, Dollar Tree underwent a review of its store's performance to identify locations to close, relocate, or rebanner, the company said. As a result of this review, we plan on closing approximately 600 Family Dollar stores in the first half of the fiscal 2024. Additionally, approximately 370 Family Dollar and 30 Dollar Tree stores will close over the next several years at the end of each store's current lease term, the company said in the press release. So that's not 1,000. That's 1,000. Right. That's pretty much I thought they said 6. So like, so yeah, so they gonna close 600 sometime coming up, and then they gonna close another pretty much 400 by the end of the year or next couple years. And those stores is probably doing decently, but or they doing enough to turn a profit where they didn't closing them. But just imagine by the time you get to 2 years down the line, how bad the economy gonna be. Because we're in inflation, and inflation just go away in a couple weeks or 6 months. Like they said, this inflation is gonna last. Well, people don't even understand the Great Depression wasn't like a year. Like that was several years of people struggling. So I'm gonna let me do this real quick. So yeah, we about to come into them type of times, We on that type of time. So at the end of the day, it just made me think about, great tribulation coming, and you gotta be really locked in and have a solid foundation in this truth, because it tells you the things of this world shall fade away. You may have to give up everything. You may have to be homeless in this truth. I came into the truth homeless. So I would hope, Yahweh Shem have this in my spirit. Well, I know how it feels to not have nothing, to have to leave everything. So I would hope that in my spirit, I will be able to do it again. And you can't just take that for granted and say, well, I did it before, do it again. Look at Peter. Peter said, I'll die for the Lord. And then when it came time, he said, no. But then he read and hid and denied him and everything. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 50. And it reads, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. This is a very powerful place. You got these women proud. You got these children proud. Everybody fucking proud. Niggas proud. Nigga ain't got nothing. Everybody struggling. Motherfucker proud. Talking shit. And that's why the Lord gonna keep on continuing and applying pressure. You ain't saying shit yet. Like I said again, that's one thing about, the generations before. They knew how to, they already went through hard times. It's not even a scripture. Somebody told me it was a scripture, and I tried to find the scripture, cannot find it, but I guess it's a quote. They say, each generation get weaker but wiser. Our forefathers and our parents and our grandparents and all those, they were a lot stronger than us, especially like, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, because, they actually dealt with real racism. They seen some shit. That's why you had a lot of them Black Panther. My daddy was a Panther. The fuck? So, that's how it was growing up back when they was growing up. They really seen it in their face. And the generations after really have. I've experienced racism. So I know what it is at a young age. Huggies told me, fuck you, nigga, and all that type of shit. You know what I mean? I've worked around them. Just because they buy you breakfast don't mean shit. Because it's what's in your heart, your mind. You know what I'm saying? Your lob. That's why the scriptures say never trust thy enemy, because at the end of the day, this is not just all, this is something spiritual from the womb. That's why there'll never be no cure of racism. Fuck, do you know what racism mean? Racism mean I'm for my race. So as long as they got their race, and it's nothing wrong with racism. You supposed to, if you are a so-called black person and you don't love your race, there's something fucking wrong with you. The book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1, and it reads, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So that's a distinction between people right there. While they talk about everybody gonna be saved, everybody going to heaven. It said everybody that's written in the book. Everybody doesn't have their name written in the book. He said the prince of it says Michael, the great prince, which Michael is the archangel, the second in command beneath Yahweh Shah Mashiach, you people English call Jesus Christ. It's going to get so bad, the Lord's going to have to send Michael to go stand up and help us, to deliver us. And it says it's going to be, it says there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. But you got people talking about it ain't going to be no Jacob's trouble. If you, like I said again, I guarantee you got older generations that see this and they probably stunned or shocked or, they probably even could deal with it to a degree because they used to penny pinching and saving it. That's why you had older generations would keep their money in a mattress. That's why my daddy did that because he grew up around the Great Depression. When, these things, they make it seem like it's so far-fetched. What do you think the Great Depression fucking was? The banks fucking failed. So if it happened before, why wouldn't it repeat? When it's the same system. It's the same banking system. Based on that, I'm about to intellect. Even the phone chimed in. Call on you like, y'all want to shoot outside. Because these people, and I can't wait. These smug ass, smart mouth niggas, man, that just sit up there like motherfucker mad at you for no reason. You don't even know what. Motherfucker, go kill yourself then. Like the fuck? Don't give a fuck if you mad. You think you the first motherfucker been mad at the fuck? And the motherfucker don't even really, like, I see if I'm a motherfucker always in somebody's face or some shit like that. Like, what do take place in my, man, because it's just like, that's Satan though, for real. Like, Satan trying to get a foothold in whatever. Like a brother said, I don't really be amongst 1,000 people, so I don't, have to worry about 1,000 spirits combating with. It be always something close to me. Satan trying to come through them motherfuckers. And then you can always spot them out. My uncle, my dad always said my uncle had 5 customers. He had 5 niggas he dealt with. He said so he could count them on his head. So if something happened, he'd know it's between these 5 motherfuckers. So lucky. So yeah, it's going to get real bad. That's another scripture that backs up Jacob's trouble. But at the end of the day, the scriptures talk about the Most High is going to protect his elect. And I'm going to just end it with this because this is, backing up Jacob's trouble and the Lord, Yahweh Shah, protecting his elect. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7, and it reads, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So when you take the time, if you ever research history and look at all the atrocities that happened on the planet, well, this is going to overreach all of that. Like, you got, I forgot what was the name of it, but the Great Famine of China. I can't remember. I think it was Mayo or Mao. I think that's the individual that Mike Tyson got tattooed on him, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, it was a great famine in China. I think this was like in the 70s. This ain't even that long ago. Because food can be utilized as a weapon. Why do you think in certain neighborhoods they don't have grocery stores? I can name 2 areas right now in my city that don't have grocery stores. But it's a abundant population of niggas. So what do you think gonna happen in that day when all hell break loose? And you got families over there, women with children, all kind of shit. So basically, with that great famine in China, it was like 20 million people died. Because again, food can always be used as a weapon. That's why when you go into the siege of Jerusalem, which is a part of our culture, well, a part of our history, not culture. Our culture is the things that we do as a people. Like with the Passover that's coming up. Part of our history is, basically when Rome basically fell upon us and, sieged Jerusalem. They sieged it where They pretty much didn't allow nobody to get in or nobody to get out. And if they not allowed anything to get in, then we couldn't get no food. So when you go into history of that, that's why they were pretty much, eating the trees, eating their shoes. It was times in history where Jake ate their children. So I'm sure they probably did that too. And people think it's far-fetched, but these niggas don't even know what they eat now. A motherfucker will be quick to consume anything. No discipline at all. So yeah, nigga ain't go. I had a bitch I knew, a nigga, she told me that. She said, no, I eat a person. I looked at the bitch, I said, damn, bitch, you just, and that's how far our people have failed. You had accounts in the scriptures where people died just not to eat pork. But you got a nigga today talking about, nigga, yeah, I eat a person. I said, damn. So, again, it ain't gonna be far-fetched, or I ain't gonna be surprised. So back in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. And who is the he? That's the elect. That consists of, women and children. But, the elect is of the nation of Israel, which consists of so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indian Haitians, the true Israelites of the Bible, because the curses fit these people. Like nobody else fits the scriptures like the scriptures talk about Israel being a no people. If niggas ain't a no people, no people meaning you have no culture. You have no culture is needed to cultivate, to grow. That's why niggas be stagnant. A nigga make it out the ghetto, right? And make it to the NFL, NBA, music industry, and then go to jail. Or someone nigga, what? You had to, that's because they make so much money off of niggas. I read this book called Think and Grow Rich. It's an old book by a guy named Napoleon Hill. I believe he was an Edomite. But then I read the one it was a Jake. I can't think of the guy's name, but it was a Jake. And that book was enlightening because of the fact, after reading, it basically went into all these success stories about these different Jakes or so-called blacks that, started businesses or made all this money. Like Madam C.J. Walker. Like, she was rich back when niggas was getting lynched and shit like that. Showing you the ingenuity of Jake. Showing you that we got to be the people. The scriptures talk about Israel is the former of all things. She was the first one to come up with the hair shit now. You know what I mean? She was rich back then. But the point of bringing all this up is when you read the back of that book, it went into the statistics of how much money Jake makes. Even when Jake go to jail. Like when you go into the prison population, like majority of Jake make up the prison. That's a business in itself. So they always looking to capitalize on Jake. So when you go into that word, he is the elect. He should be saved out of it. And that's what we banking on, because you can't bank on nothing here as far as financially, as far as physically, carnally, none of that shit. This shit can happen while you out and about, and you might have whatever the fuck you think you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, people losing their homes. Like, your home could burn down. Like, nothing is promised. The only thing that's promised is that the things that's written in this book, in the scriptures, is going to come to pass. And I truly wholeheartedly believe that because I see it with my own eyes. So if you're so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, well, I want to first say, call Lord Yahweh Shai for giving me the spiritual eye salve to be able to see these things with my eyes. Because you got people that see these things and can't see them. So I'm going to end the lesson. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appear like the other nations. Subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come to Until the next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I will say shalom, shalom, and Kwam Yashar Allah, shalom.